And at 9, Gary Hoffman, my workmate, my boss, you are my everything. How lovely to be here. I better explain what's happening because you like to lob into the studio every now and again, and we've got a great relationship. You tell me what to do and I do it.
That's it.
We got to, but we go back indirectly for such a long time, don't we, when you think about it, through a mate of ours.
40 years.
Oh, I know. And just on the off chance that somebody may have popped in and they haven't heard what's going on, I am officially retiring. I know I shouldn't be retiring. I'm only 46, but, you know, we do things differently these days. Gary, how are you?
I'm good. And you didn't know that I was going to come in and do this.
No, I didn't. You floor me every single time, which is lovely.
That's right. I think it's important to recognise the day for what it is and to also recognise your career. 40 years, an outstanding career, and you've taken a lot of phone calls and a lot of emails since you announced your retirement, but today's the day. And I wanted to say on air on behalf of everybody at Magic 1278, everybody at the radio station, but more importantly, those people who have been part of your on-air family for such a long time. It's a remarkable career, and I've said this to a number of people in recent times. I can't think of anybody who's spent 40 years in prime time in the one major market in Australia. 40 years, it's a tough business. It all sounds like cheerfulness and brightness. I guess from the other side of the radio, but it's a tough business. It chews people up and it spits them out.
Oh, absolutely.
And
yeah.
It's a lot of people say to you, I'd really like to be a radio announcer.
And you go, oh no, please don't bother.
You say, don't do it, because people go into this industry, certainly back when we went into the industry in the late 60s, early 70s, and it finds people out in the first 12 months. It really finds people out. And the people who aren't absolutely dedicated to it and who really don't have the ability get tossed out of the industry very quickly. So it says a lot about you personally that you've survived 40 years on air. Let's go through the stations. That's in Melbourne. Where have you worked?
Well, I started off with 3BO. I'll go back just a fraction further. When I was about 21, 22, I was working for Music Background Systems in a 3AW building, and I've always loved radios, but never smart enough to figure out the circuitry of things. But I figured one day I'll get into this. And one of the 3AW was on the second floor. One of the jocks came out and said, "Wow, that would be fantastic. You know, why bother fixing them when you can be on them inside the radio?" And he said, "Go to a radio school, Clark Sinclair." So, first job, BCV television, hopeless. 3 months, not enough experience. Went to 3BO. I could always, write a bit of copy, which I did there. Part-time job. Hey, we need somebody full-time. Bang, that was it. Vacancy at 3XY. You would have been there back in those days on top of Johnny's green room having a coffee from time to time. Yes. Part-time, weekend work. Before you know it, somebody leaves full-time. But that was a bit too... What's the...
Well, there was a rock station.
Well, it was.
Top 40 rock and roll. And
1423 XY, fight a mile. I mean, that was great for the time, but that wasn't me. But luckily, Dick Hemming, who ran the joint at the time, said to me, I know somebody at 3DB. We can get you to do voiceover stuff on Gerald Lyons' Talkback and Action Line. So I got in there for 18 months doing a bit of part-time work. Then 3AK came along. Rhett Walker, the manager, said to me, Ward, don't leave town. You got the job. So that was the start of it. Then on to 3MP. But the icing on the cake, honestly, has been this magnificent... Because I've grown up too. And this took a long time, Gary. But I have really felt myself at home in this place, working with this team. It has just been awesome.
It's been a great association. Can I tell a story?
Sure.
I know we should be playing music. I always say don't talk, play more songs. But
today's the exception.
When I first started at Magic, which is now 13 years ago, and we renewed our acquaintanceship.
That's right.
We had a meeting. I listened to Ward. I think it was about the second or third day I was there, here, and Ward told a story on air that went forever, and it went in 16.
Oh, no.
It went in 16 different directions, and it rambled and on. And I called Ward in and I said, "Now listen, when you tell a story, you've got to stick to the focus on the story itself. Don't go off at tangents each which way, and it should have a punchline."
You're right.
So we talked about a punchline. This meeting went on for about an hour, and anyway, the one thing I can say about Ward is that whatever I've said, you've tried your absolute best to implement it. So Ward went on air the next day, and it was the worst shift I've ever heard in my life. He tried to do everything that I'd said. And I quickly realised that wasn't you. So I called Ward in at the end of his shift and I said, remember that conversation we had yesterday? Forget it. Just be yourself. And I think that's really the essence of your success over such a long period of time, that what people hear on air is exactly what you are off air. Very, very natural on air. A lot of guys, put it on and, the big voices and personalities that are, jumping out of the box, but that's not really them at all. That's the show. But in your case, what you hear on air is what you are off air. And I think the audience has been able to recognise that and relate to that over such a long period of time. And I think it has just such a massive part of your success over such a long period of time. So on behalf of the station, and more importantly, on behalf of all those listeners who have listened to you for such a long time, congratulations on a magnificent career. Enjoy your retirement. You have plans. You and Lynn will be off.
Yes.
And I know you'll have a wonderful retirement. So thank you from everybody. And if you don't play a song soon, you may not get to finish your shift.
Well, I better get moving pronto. Gary, really, I know we break the rules a little bit in terms of the music today, but it is such a special day, and it just goes to reinforce that this is what makes magic tick. And it's people like yourself and everybody that works here, we just love each other, which is absolutely sensational. Got a great product and just so happy to do it. I can sum it up this way with a letter that came in this morning. Pardon me. Congratulations, Gary. Thanks a million. Congratulations on your retirement. You can wake up to a nice day. You can actually choose to wheel the bike out and go for a spin because you can. Lynn probably thinks she's got all those jobs lined up for you to get through, but a good man knows his priorities. On that note, it's a Magic Classic Top 40 special. John, Paul Young, Gary, thanks a million.